The world of cartels is a dark place, where power is measured in kilos of cocaine and stacks of cash. Men whisper about deals struck in dimly lit rooms, betrayals ending in blood. Law enforcement is often just another player, bought or intimidated. The line between good and evil blurs easily in these lands. Ambition can make you a king or get you killed quickly. Corruption spreads like a cancer, infecting every level of society. Police turn blind eyes for a price. Politicians make deals to stay in power. The cartel's money seeps into everything, eroding trust and morals. Honest men find it hard to survive in a rigged, deadly game. Yet the allure of this world is strong, promising unimaginable wealth and absolute power. Young men see a path to escape poverty, dreaming of fancy cars and sprawling estates. They ignore the danger, or perhaps the danger itself is part of the attraction. The thrill of outsmarting the law, the respect or fear in others' eyes. From this brutal landscape, monsters emerge, ruthless, cunning men who rise through the ranks. They build empires that stretch across continents, commanding armies of loyal soldiers. Amado Carrillo Fuentes and Carlos Lehder were not just criminals, they were innovators of death and distribution. They changed the game and paid the ultimate price for their fleeting thrones in this kingdom of shadows. Amado Carrillo Fuentes was born into this world in Sinaloa, Mexico, a cradle of narcos. He learned the trade from his uncle, Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo Don Neto. Amado was quiet, observant, and saw the future in the sky. Known as El Señor de los Cielos, he built an air force to flood America with cocaine for the Juarez cartel. Amado envisioned fleets of jets, commercial-sized aircraft painted to look legitimate. He understood logistics, corruption, who to pay, and who to eliminate. His rise was steady and ruthless, becoming the head of the Juarez cartel. Carlos Lehder Rivas was a different breed, born in Colombia to a German father and Colombian mother. Flamboyant and charismatic, he resented the United States. Starting with marijuana smuggling, he saw cocaine as a weapon to disrupt America and make himself rich. Later joined forces with the Ochoa brothers and Pablo Escobar, forming the Medellin cartel. He was the transport genius, figuring out how to move massive quantities of cocaine. Bold and audacious, he once dropped leaflets over the Bahamas claiming it as his own. He craved attention and power, and for a time, he had both. Amado Carrillo Fuentes revolutionized drug trafficking with wings, using Boeing 727s. He bought and converted old passenger jets, filling them with tons of cocaine. Each flight was a jackpot, each landing in the Mexican desert a victory. The audacity was breathtaking, the profits astronomical. His operations were vast, protected by a network of corruption. He had contacts at the highest levels, knew which radar stations to avoid, and which officials needed money. He built clandestine airstrips hidden in the remote deserts of northern Mexico. Only the most trusted pilots flew his planes, paid handsomely, knowing the risks. Fuentes outsmarted authorities for years, a ghost always one step ahead. His fleet allowed him to bypass traditional smuggling routes, moving more product than anyone else. He became the primary transporter for Colombian cartels, trusted and delivering. The drugs flowed north, the money flowed south, all thanks to the Lord of the Skies. Carlos Lehder had an audacious vision involving an island, Norman's Cay in the Bahamas. He bought and transformed it into a fortress, a cocaine superhighway. He built a refrigerated hangar to store cocaine, a runway long enough for his planes. Armed guards and attack dogs controlled the island completely. From Norman's Cay, Lehder dispatched small planes loaded with cocaine, flying low and fast to Florida. He revolutionized smuggling, making it direct and efficient, cutting out the middlemen. The island became a legend, a symbol of the cartel's power and brazen defiance. Lehder lived like a king, throwing wild parties, flaunting his wealth. He saw himself as a revolutionary, wanting to flood America with cocaine as a political statement. But mostly, it was about money and power, which he had in abundance for a short, dazzling, violent time.
Section 5. Fortresses of fear, palaces of sin, life inside the cartel.
Life at the top of the cartel world was a strange mix of incredible luxury and brutal violence. Sprawling haciendas, exotic cars, private zoos, and endless parties.
The drug lords lived like feudal kings, indulging every whim.
But beneath the glittering surface lay a foundation of brutal violence, torture chambers, mass graves, and enemies disappearing without a trace.
The message was clear: cross us and you will suffer.
Paranoia was a constant companion, trust a rare commodity. Drug lords surrounded themselves with loyal bodyguards, but betrayal could come from anywhere.
Every meeting was a risk, every alliance temporary.
The communities where cartels operated lived under a shadow, offered jobs or money, but always with a threat. Local businesses paid extortion, local police looked away, and children grew up seeing violence as normal.
Section 6. Whispers in the dark, meetings, alliances, and betrayals. Secret meetings were the lifeblood of the cartel world, happening in secluded ranches and anonymous hotel rooms.
The air was thick with tension, promises made, threats implied, deals struck. These meetings decided the fate of tons of cocaine who lived and who died.
Alliances were formed out of necessity and greed. The Medellin cartel with Escobar, Lehder, and the Ochoas pooled resources and shared routes.
Amado Carrillo Fuentes, with his air fleet, became a key partner for many Colombian groups. These alliances made them stronger, more dangerous, able to corrupt more officials.
But betrayal was inevitable in this world of wolves. Loyalty was fragile, lasting only as long as it was convenient or profitable.
The price of disloyalty was always death, a slow, painful death to serve as a warning. Amado Carrillo Fuentes rose to power after his boss was assassinated, some say orchestrated by him.
Carlos Lehder's erratic behavior made him a target, his partners wary of him.
Section 7. The sky crumbles. The fall of Amado Carrillo Fuentes. The pressure mounted on Amado Carrillo Fuentes as the Americans and Mexican government closed in.
His vast network of corruption could only protect him for so long. Fuentes decided to change his appearance, seeking extensive plastic surgery. He checked into a hospital in Mexico City under an assumed name, hoping to emerge a new man.
It was a desperate gamble, a final attempt to escape the consequences of his life of crime.
The surgery went wrong, and on July 4, 1997, Amado Carrillo Fuentes died on the operating table. The official cause of death was complications from the surgery, but the truth remains shrouded in mystery. His death created a massive power vacuum, the Juarez cartel fractured, and a new wave of violence erupted.
The empire Amado had built began to crumble, but the drug trade continued, only changing players.
Section 8. Paradise Lost. Carlos Lehder's capture and extradition. My flamboyant style and political ambitions made me a prime target.
His island paradise, Norman's Cay, had long been shut down by authorities, but Lehder remained at large. The hunt for Carlos Lehder was intense. Colombian and U.S. authorities wanted him badly.
In February 1987, he was captured, reportedly after a tip-off from Escobar's men.
Lehder was one of the first major traffickers to face American justice. His capture and extradition sent a powerful message. He faced trial in Jacksonville, Florida, with overwhelming evidence against him.
I was convicted, sentenced to life without parole, plus 135 years. I eventually cooperated with authorities, testifying against Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega.
In 2020, he was released and deported to Germany, his power a distant memory. Section 9. Echoes of a violent reign, the enduring legacy. The empires built by Amado Carrillo Fuentes and Carlos Lehder cost thousands of lives, scarring Mexico and Colombia. Innocent people were caught in the crossfire, families torn apart, communities terrorized. Their legacy is one of death, destruction, and immense human suffering. They changed drug trafficking forever, showing how to operate on an industrial scale. The methods they pioneered are still used today. The scale of the problem grew exponentially because of their innovations. The war on drugs continues, a complex, bloody, and often futile struggle. The fall of men like Fuentes and Lehder did not stop the flow of drugs. Others quickly took their place. The demand in consumer countries remained strong. The vast profits continued to lure new players. The reigns of Amado Carrillo Fuentes and Carlos Lehder were fleeting, their power immense but built on sand. Their stories are cautionary tales about the seductive nature of greed and the corrupting influence of power. The echoes of their violent reigns still resonate, a reminder of the darkness that lurks and the cost of dancing with the devil.